We got when 28 Pro Bowlers met in the AFC Championship. Now I think I remember this game very vividly. You know what I'm saying? I think I was like what 4 at this time. You know when this game happened, I was like 3 or 4. The only thing I remember from this game was Willis McGahee getting his fucking dome taken off by Ryan Clark, dog. That's the only. I think it was his game. That's the only thing I remember from this game. Outside of that, I really don't remember anything else. I know we lost this game, obviously, but hey man, damn that shit loud as fuck.
Rivalries in the NFL, most of which go back decades. But for my money, no rivalry in the entire sport hits quite like the Steelers and the Ravens.
Facts.
And I mean that literally. 16 years ago, the legacy of this matchup was cemented forever, right here in this city, with quite possibly the most brutally beautiful game ever played. It was physical, it was personal, and it was awesome. If you were lucky enough to watch the 2008 AFC Championship game live, consider this your trip down memory lane. But for everybody else, consider this your crash course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the land of big boy football.
I ain't gonna lie, bro, nigga. You know how crazy this sound though? 28 Pro Bowlers in one game. This was like back when Pro Bowls actually meant something. 28 Pro Bowls. That's insane, dog. Look at my shit. That's what sealed the game right there. This was the year that the Steelers won the Super Bowl, right? If I'm not mistaken.
More contempt for each other than they had in the past.
Willis McGahee. Y'all know how weird it's gonna be now? No Harbaugh, no Mike Tomlin. Bro, this Ravens Steelers rivalry is about to look very weird next season, gang. I ain't gonna lie, gang. Shit. To be honest, every team in the AFC North should have new head coaches, bro. I don't know how Zach Taylor still got a job, but the whole AFC North about to look entirely different this season. I ain't gonna lie. Alright.
They are playing for the Lamar Hunt Trophy. It goes to the AFC champion. Will it be Baltimore or will it be Pittsburgh? So here we go.
The game started out about how you would expect, with a Steelers field goal on their opening drive, and then forcing the Ravens to punt on their own opening possession.
Sam Cook.
Pittsburgh had early control, but the Ravens' defense, led by Rex Ryan, was not going to go down without a fight.
Edgar Jones, number 84, lining up at defensive end. He's also a backup tight end for the Ravens, and they're in. Roethlisberger, and they get him with Nata and Price.
This is a type of blitz known colloquially as four weak, meaning four rushers are getting after it from the weak side of the offensive formation. There's a million different ways to run four weak with all sorts of different pressure paths for these four rushers, and these types of calls were a staple of the Baltimore defense under Ryan, especially on third and long like this one. And in particular, the pressure path on this play was a double stunt known as cold, me, left. Cold is the name for the inside stunt, and me is the name for the outside stunt. And for those who don't know what these stunts actually are, cold is when the cocked nose here gets upfield into the A-gap to draw the center with him, and then the next closest rusher outside of him will then loop inside to hopefully come free, like Nada does here. And it's the same concept outside as well, but with a different name. Me is when the player who is the second furthest outside will be getting vertical up the field to either penetrate or just draw the protection deeper with him behind the pocket, and then the furthest outside rusher will loop back inside. For those wondering why these stunts are named that way, well, it's because the opposite of me would be you, and the opposite of cold is hot. So
Type
just flip
shit,
the
type shit.
penetrator and looper responsibilities of cold to get hot, and flip the penetrator and looper responsibilities of me to get you, and all of a sudden you get hot you, which is a whole different pressure path, but with the same 4 guys in the same alignment. The names are designed this way so that players can just easily register who is doing what role in the stunt. But again, cold, me, left was the actual call. The Ravens executed these stunts to perfection, and Haloti Ngata was sprung free for an easy sack, completely untouched to end the drive. So the Ravens defense, probably as expected, was cooking early on. But not to be outdone, the Steelers defense answered that sack with a 3rd down interception of their own on the ensuing possession.
Of course.
Minutes later, after another hard-earned Steelers field goal, and then each defense continuing to trade haymakers against each other's offenses, we finally ended up at a pivotal sequence early in the game where arguably the best player in the game made his presence felt.
Here's the sneak. Flacco, second chance.
I mean, like,
second
dog,
effort.
how do you defend that game? Like, Troy Polamalu was the best at
player
time and
in the
snaps,
game
game.
made
Like,
his
how do you
presence
defend that?
felt.
Honestly,
Here's the
like, do you gotta have a nigga right on top of Joe Flacco, ready for this nigga to pounce? Like, come on, gang. How do you defend that?
Flacco, second chance, second effort.
Like,
And it
bro,
looks like
Troy
they got
Polamalu
marked
was
short of it.
different, dog.
This 4th down stop was vintage Troy Polamalu. But the real story of the play is that Troy actually saw it coming 1 snap earlier. On 3rd and 1 in that same series, 1 play before that leap, Joe Flacco sent his running back, Willis McGahee, in motion to empty out the backfield and make it look like he was going to try to quarterback sneak it. Flacco then used a hard count to try to draw the Steelers off sides and move the chains that way, but nobody took the cheese, so we called a timeout instead. Polamalu knew.
Smart little bitch. Oh my, yo, bro. Is Troy Polamalu the smartest safety of all time? He might definitely be, because that's actually diabolical.
If they were ever going to bluff a sneak, that was it. That was the one time they would fake it. And anything else from here on out was probably going to be a real sneak. So what does he then do on that same 3rd and 1 coming off the timeout? Well, he leaped over the line of scrimmage, of course. Now, Flacco wasn't actually sneaking on this play either, but Troy knew that sooner or later it was probably coming. And the best way to stop it was to just go full send over the line. The Ravens then lined up for that crucial 4th and 1, deciding to go for it. And once Polamalu saw that same motion again from McGahee out of the backfield, he knew that sneak was back on. Come hell or high water, he was going to get to the quarterback. Believe it or not, he actually had a coverage assignment here. He wasn't quote-unquote supposed to blitz. But if you're reading a run play and you're a Hall of Fame safety, coverage assignments are really more just guidelines rather than hard and fast rules. Troy timed the snap perfectly, grabbed a hold of Flacco like a lion trying to take down a gazelle, and he got him on the ground.
That's crazy.
Drive over.
So the Ravens still denied a single first down.
On the ensuing Steelers possession, Rex Ryan got Pittsburgh into yet another 3rd and 9, and then he leaned once more on those 3rd down blitzes that he loved so much. But this time, it didn't exactly go his way.
They're bringing everybody. Stepping away from it, Roethlisberger throws
Big Ben.
off balance, has Holmes. Holmes cuts back middle past Walker. Sidesteps another hit. Miller down there leading the charges. Washington's going to throw a block, and Holmes has taken it in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
I really wish I could provide some sort of real analysis of what went.
Hold the fuck up. Hey, bro. What was the temperature of this game? There's no fucking way, dog, bro. Steelers fans are different, gang. It had to be, because this was in December. Well, not December. In January, dog. So it had to been like at least 30 degrees outside in Pittsburgh, and these niggas got their shirts off. Yo,
really wish I could provide some sort of real analysis of what went wrong here. I mean, the call was good for Baltimore.
My ass
they got
freezing.
pressure,
I would have caught hypothermia.
Man coverage.
No troll.
Everything worked until it didn't. This was just a case of Big Ben being Big Ben. And for those of you out there that are too young to remember what Roethlisberger in his prime was actually like, sometimes this would just happen. Sometimes he would get out of impossible situations, look off into the distance, say, screw it, Santonio Holmes is down there somewhere, and it would work. By God, it would work. And nobody really knows why. It just did. something, both defenses went back to their dominant ways, and the game mostly came to a standstill for the rest of the second quarter. Until
Typical
that
Ravens
is,
Steelers
Baltimore
game.
got a huge play on special
Starting to
teams
snow in that
from a
bitch?
man who right now in the present day is currently one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL.
Leonard's got a chance to run this one. Gets past the wave.
Oh yeah.
Leonard inside
Oh yeah.
the
To the
40.
Baja. Oh
Gotta
yeah.
beat the punter. And Berger
You better
knocks
be
the
lucky that
ball
shit
out.
out of bounds, Nate.
And Leonard down.
That's right. Jim Leonard, current Broncos pass game coordinator and Wisconsin Badger legend, was a damn good punt returner in his prime. How about that? So after getting set up with great field position from that return in vintage Baltimore fashion, they drew a pass interference call to get down to the 1 yard line and then punched it in for a touchdown. All of a sudden, after being 13-0, it's 13-7, and we got a ball game at halftime. And since it is halftime, and I recorded this part way later in the editing process, I do want to take a moment to A, thank you for watching this far, and B, if you're a Steelers fan, or if you know a Steelers fan, and statistically speaking, there's so many of them that you probably do, I want to let you all know that we recently revamped and redesigned.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Let's skip this. Let's get back to the video, man. Let's get back to the video, bro.
Times already. On 3rd and 11, and then again on the next drive on 3rd and 7, he almost had back-to-back picks, either through tipped balls or just outright bad throws.
Like,
and believe
y'all,
it or not,
y'all really don't understand the joy that I felt when this motherfucker finally retired, dog. Like, dead ass.
that was the 4th
Tired
new
of dealing with
interception
this
in
nigga.
his last 3 drives. So things
gosh,
were looking
bro.
pretty rough out there, and the Steel Curtain 2.0 clearly smelled blood in the water. But the true payoff was still yet to come. The Ravens defense was keeping Baltimore in it while Joe shook off his struggles, and they had the Pittsburgh offense also fighting for their own life. Roethlisberger took a huge 3rd down sack, and then on the very next Steelers possession, Terrell Suggs got yet another monster sack on 1st down. All of that set up this 2nd and 24, easily the most important play of the game up to that point for both teams. Rex was calling a great game, Ray Lewis was smashing everyone, Suggs was eating, Ed was prowling. I mean, this defense walked into enemy territory and had their arch rival on the ropes. They were doing it. But then, almost inexplicably, they busted their coverage.
2nd and 24, looking long, and has Miller, and he shakes off Reed, and there's Lewis bringing him down, but we do have a flag. Illegal contact, it will hold up.
Somehow, one of the most famously disciplined defenses ever made a huge mental mistake. And here's the kicker. It was Lewis, of all people, that had the miscommunication.
I mean, to be fair, bro, Ray Lewis was not known for his coverage skills, gang. Let's keep it a buck. He was known as for his ferocious hits and great tackling, bro. He was never truly a great coverage linebacker.
For this play, with a
he was decent, he was solid, but he was never truly like one of the greatest coverage linebackers.
The Ravens had a cover 3 call on here, but it's a modified cover 3 known in the Nick Saban language as 3 Buzz Mabel. This is a common coverage check for a trips look, and almost every defense
that's a rare moment right there
some
of him
kind of version
not
of
being
this.
smart.
The backside corner is going to be locked in man coverage. Ed Reed is going to be baiting any throw to the deep post so he can pick that off. The field side corner is responsible for his deep third, as well as squeezing any seam throw to the inside of him. You have the strong curl flat player, the strong hook, the weak hook, and the weak curl flat. In 3 Buzz Mabel, one of the key vulnerabilities is the weak hook player, which is almost always going to be the Mike linebacker. He has the enviable task of having to pick up any crossing route from what's called the final 3. That means that after all these receivers release into their routes in whatever direction they're going to go, the furthest route to the inside is going to be the final 3, if you're counting from outside to inside. If that final 3 runs a deep cross, you got to get on your horse and go carry that, because you are not going to get any help from the safety, and you're not going to get any help from the weak side curl flat player. That is just you and you alone, which is why Jim Leonard let Heath Miller go, Ed Reed let him go, everybody let him go, because all of them thought Ray was going to carry it. But for whatever reason, due to miscommunication, that just didn't happen. Miller ran free through the back of the defense, and Ben found him for a 30-yard gain on 2nd and 24 to pick up a seemingly impossible 1st down. After rescuing the drive, the Steelers capitalized on that momentum by getting much-needed points to make it 16-7, a 2-possession lead in the 4th quarter. Finally, at long last, a buffer. Baltimore felt this game starting to slip away. They needed one good drive, and they needed it now. So, of course, right on cue, Steelers punter Mitch Berger had a brutal shank punt for only 21 yards, and that set up Baltimore with really good field position at their own 42-yard line. Somehow, despite being under pressure all day long and not even seeing the field that well leading up to this point, Joe Flacco finally locked in.
That's a great
completion
block.
After completion.
That's a great fucking block, dog.
At this point, Joe Flacco finally
oh my gosh. If it weren't for McGahee right there, that's probably a sack.
Completion
maybe
after
even
completion, first down after first down, he worked his way down the field. Baltimore got within striking distance, and then through the grace of the football gods for the second time in this game, they drew a pass interference penalty to set themselves up once again at the Steelers' 1-yard line. Willis McGahee punched it in to cap off the drive, and just like that,
nice
we
jump
had a
cut,
2-point game with minutes to go.
Now the Ravens and Steelers, their other two games came down to the wire. And now it's starting to look like this one will too.
On the ensuing Steelers possession, Baltimore's defense held firm once again, forcing Pittsburgh into a 3rd and 13, which became another Terrell Suggs sack on just a 3-man rush. All of the momentum was suddenly
when
in
the
their
fuck
favor,
is my boy
and the
T.
Ravens
Sizzle gonna
legitimately
get
had a
inducted
chance
into the
to
Hall of
steal
Fame?
this win on the road. One more chance with the ball, and they just needed a field goal to win it. That one chance is all they could ever ask for. And yet, on the other side of the ball, even with everything seemingly now going wrong, the Steelers were also right where they wanted to be. They had a lead. They got Baltimore into a 3rd and 13 after a 2nd down sack. Renegade was blasting, the towels were waving, the crowd was deafening. This was it. A trip to the Super Bowl all came down to one play. 3rd and long, Joe Flacco in the gun.
Was this when McGahee got lit up? Nah.
Picked off Polamalu.
Pick 6. Yup. Goodbye.
Right. The field is open. Aaron Smith shields. Flacco. Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
Troy Polamalu's pick 6 is iconic in so many ways, but what is most fascinating to me is how it happened. The Ravens are in a formation and motion called gun tough right Z short, or at least that's what Kyle Shanahan calls it. I don't know exactly what Baltimore called it back then, so I'll just use Shanahan language for now. The route concept is a through route down the deep middle seam as an alert, so if this comes wide open, everything else in the read goes out the window, and Flacco would just throw that for a touchdown. But failing that, there is a route called a 7 stop to the field side, and then on the boundary side, you have a crossing route. This crossing route also has a read built into it where it will just keep going across the field against man coverage, but if it's zone coverage like this one, it'll settle down in space. The whole idea of this particular route distribution is using the through route as a vertical clear to move any inside coverage defenders deep and out of the way, and then the 7 stop will sell hard to the outside at first to widen out and deepen any outside defenders before settling into space just beyond the sticks. It's a classic zone-beating concept that manipulates the defense to create the space where you want it to be and then punishes that space. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, the Steelers are in a 2-deep fire zone blitz that Dick LeBeau called Sting. The mechanics of this blitz and coverage might look complicated on the surface, but they're simple enough that they allowed Polamalu to freelance if he had an opportunity to, which, of course, he did, because he's Troy Polamalu. Just imagine this as a 5-man rush up front with cover 2 on the back end, but because you're playing cover 2 with one less defender in coverage than a normal cover 2 would have, you have to play that coverage tighter and more aggressively. So Ryan Clark, for instance, instead of expanding out to play a deep half technique like a regular cover 2, he's playing an inside technique almost as if he's in quarters, but not really, because he's responsible for cutting any crossing routes from this number 1 to his side. And if you're wondering how I know this, by the way, it's because RC literally told me what this call was. So trust me, I got this from a good source. Now, at the same time as Clark is playing that inside technique, Ike Taylor, the flat defender on that side, is responsible for rallying and tackling anything to the flat if Flacco decides to just check it down to McGahee. On the other side of the field, which is the passing strength of the offensive formation, because there are 3 receiving threats to that side, so that makes it the strong side, you have Troy Polamalu playing a weak side vertical hook role, Deshae Townsend as the nickel is playing the strong side vertical hook, Tyrone Carter is a true deep half safety, and Willie Gay is the field side flat defender. So 4 defenders handling 3 receivers. This side of the defense plays out very similarly to a normal cover 2 when it comes to Gay as the flat defender and Carter as the deep half safety. But the major difference here is Townsend, who's playing a vertical hook technique. Not a regular hook zone like you would see in a normal cover 2. Again, this is a vertical hook. As a vertical hook player, your job is to take the final number 2 receiver after the release and carry him as deep as he wants.
Troy Polamalu just lurked him beautifully, dog.
Is to take
the whole way. Like Flacco didn't even see him. Like he tried to anticipate it too.
And this is a vertical hook.
Flacco tried
As
to
a vertical
anticipate.
hook player, your job is
to once he saw the DB flip his hips to the outside, he thought he had him. But what he didn't see is Troy Polamalu, smart ass, lurking in the middle of the field, dog.
Final number 2 receiver after the release and
he
carry
got
him
whacked.
as deep as he wants to go. If he's running vertical, you're running vertical too. If he stops, you stop. Townsend has absolutely no help here, so the only thing that matters is that he doesn't get beat deep. And again, they're only playing this technique because it's the only way to make cover 2 work with 6 defenders in coverage instead of 7. Now, at the same time, Troy, as the weak side hook defender, doesn't have a vertical threat to the weak side to actually worry about. On that weak side, it's just a running back and a single receiver, who Clark and Taylor already have sorted out between themselves, as you know. So Troy is really just keying in on Todd Heap here as the strong side number 3, and that is the only receiver on the field that he can cover. So because of the aggressive simplicity of this coverage, if Heap stays in to pass protect at first instead of running a route, which he does, then Troy's basically free to do whatever he wants. He has no other responsibilities, so he could just be himself. You can see just after the ball was snapped and Heap is clearly helping in protection, Polamalu just stops moving. He's got all the time in the world now, so he's just waiting there like a statue in the middle of the field, reading Joe Flacco's eyes. If you flip it to the end zone angle, even though most of Troy is off the screen from this view, you can still see his feet. But more importantly, you can see just by watching those feet that before Joe even starts his throwing motion, Polamalu's already started to break to the window where
he was reading his eyes. Like, bro, look at Flacco,
gang.
Look at Flacco. Flacco, look at this nigga, dog.
Joe Flacco's eyes. If you flip it to the end zone angle,
Flacco didn't look nowhere else. Like, he's staring it down. He's literally staring it down, dog.
From this view, you can still see.
Like, you can't make that type of a mistake going against a safety like Troy Polamalu, bro, because he's gonna make you pay every single time.
His feet.
He's staring this down, gang.
You can see just by
like he doesn't look nothing off. Like, come on, like, gosh, Joe. I mean, he ended up making up for it, you know what I'm saying? We ended up winning the bowl 2012, but nigga, we could have had 2 rings maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, from Joe Flacco. We obviously got 2 rings in our franchise history, but we could have had 2 rings from Joe Flacco if he didn't make this dumbass mistake.
That before Joe even starts his throwing motion, Polamalu's already started to break to the window where he thinks the ball is going.
We could be sitting on 3 rings right now, man.
He almost overshot it. He had to contort to catch the ball behind him because he nearly got there too early. That's how fast his read and his break were. But again, the freedom to get there that quickly was only
James
possible
Harrison,
because of the coverage call in the first place. The Steelers of that era built their defense.
James Harrison. This nigga, dog.
Was only possible because the cover.
I mean, McGahee, you could have at least helped Chip.
And his break were. But
like,
again,
come
the
on,
freedom
gang.
to get there that quickly was only possible.
Could at least help Chip him. Oh
because
my
of the coverage
God,
call
dog.
in the first place. The Steelers of that era built their defense around putting Troy in positions where he could basically freelance by design. And this pick 6 was easily the most impactful and iconic example of that philosophy. With Troy scoring and making it a 23-14 ball game with just a few minutes to go, that was basically all she wrote. There were a couple more possessions for Baltimore, sure, but with the Steelers having a 2-possession lead and Flacco throwing yet another desperate pick to Tyrone Carter, the AFC champion was decided the moment Polamalu crossed that goal line. As a sports fan in my 30s, there are a lot of lasting images to me from that era of football. Chris Johnson making Olympic-level athletes look slow, the Dolphins running the Wildcat, Devin Hester being unstoppable. I look back on all of them fondly, but nothing during that time rewired my brain quite like the 08 AFC Championship. It was one of the last games of a dying breed. It was a meeting between two old-school heavyweight brawlers that were built the exact same way to win the exact same way, with body blows. Lots and lots and lots of body blows. In a sport that has become obsessed with speed, the Steelers and the Ravens were obsessed with violence, and my God, they were good at it. Football has changed. Yes, that is undeniable. But our love of it has not. Championship rivalries like the one we witnessed that night are what that love is made out of. One can only hope that the next generation of football fans will be so lucky as we were to see a game like that. A game they tell their children about.
This is peak football,
a game that
man.
500,000 different people swear they were in the stadium for. A game that, no matter what, will stay with them forever.
Facts, man, facts. This is a W fucking video. I go with you. This is a W video. Is that it? That's it. Hey, man. Shit. Hopefully we can have more cinema games like this with the Steelers, but hopefully we can come out on top. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been whooping our ass for like the past decade or so games. So at least, I mean, we did beat them like, what, it was 2024. We did beat them twice and then knocked them out the playoffs, but nigga, I want more, gang. I'm gonna keep it a bug. Like, they keep whooping our ass every year, bro. I'm tired of that shit. But hey, man, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos I'm to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.